think he's doing a good job. As anyone knows that's involved in municipal government, I can only speak from that, the tenure usually is about 5 years. And they seem to wear out their welcome. I'm not saying in Fort Lauderdale necessarily, but in any place. And it's a very stressful job. I think when I hired him, I was part of the vote to hire him. I felt his age, his experience up in New York, although it was a different form of government, and the fact, and this may sound strange, but I guess it's one of the considerations, he was single, and I felt that he would have more time to be able to dedicate to his job. And I think that has proven itself. He's proven himself to me. Now, you know, he's not there to win a popularity contest by any means, because some of the things he has to say to people is no, and that people don't want to hear no. They don't want to hear the reality. But I think he has done a good job. He's stayed the course. He doesn't do anything as far as policies and all, except the ones that we set for him to do. So there may be one commissioner or two commissioners that don't like what he's doing, but it was a consensus among the commissioners that he'd be directed to do thus and so.
What are the things that he's done really well, do you think?
I think he's been extremely responsive. This man goes out at 2 and 3 in the morning along the beach. He's down at the Himmershey. He's all over the place in the mornings, late night, early morning, to see what's going on in the city. He's very, very responsive to the commissioner's office, obviously, since we're the ones that hire and fire. But I shouldn't say obviously, because the former one wasn't quite so responsive. But he is very willing to sit down and talk to you. If you have any questions before a meeting or whatever, he's more than willing to do that. He always makes himself available. I mean, we all have his cell number. We can contact him at any time. My problem is I wake him up usually, because he goes to bed late and gets up late. And I'm an early riser, so.
One of the things that your opponent, Bruce Roberts, told us was that he felt that George does not, is on the subject of advisory boards, that he has some disdain for their input, and that was one of the things that Bruce was talking to us about yesterday.
Well, I've heard that comment from other people too, and he's from a different form of government, and I don't know that they had the so-called power and advisory boards up there, this mentality that a lot of people on advisory boards believe that whatever they say or do at their meeting should be implemented. But those things have to come, any of the suggestions or any of the discussion that they have has to come through the city commission if it's going to mean a change. Now, I pick my advisory board members very carefully, and they call me up all the time. I talk to them. We discuss what's happening, and I don't have a problem. I'm careful, but when people get to the point on advisory boards and some of these other groups that they feel they're the policy setters, of course, come to the commissioners, whoever they may be, that they have as their representative, and discuss it, and that commissioner can bring it up at a conference meeting, just under their reports, or they can get George to put it on the agenda. It's very easy to deal with these things, but the commissioner has to be willing to do it, and some of them aren't. Maybe they come with some crazy idea that the commissioner doesn't feel has merit, so they don't bring it up. But I have a great relationship with my advisory board people, and you know, I work closely with them, and I think it's whatever I put in is what I get back, and if other people don't do that, it's, you know, that's their problem, or their loss. We have an awful lot of advisory boards, maybe too many. I mean, we have an awful lot.
Going forward a little bit, if you were to win re-election, are there 2 or 3 projects that have been left undone that you would like to?
Well, you know, I thought I was past the financial crisis. When I came into office in 2003, I was all happy and, you know, jubilant about winning the election. And that was in March. In June, the whole bottom fell out of my happiness because of finding out that we had no money in the reserve account. That was hidden. No one said, welcome, new commissioner. Oh, by the way, we only have $875,000 in reserves. Found it out in June. was like somebody really just punched me in the gut.
Mhm.
And I thought, what on earth are we going to do? Well, we got Alan Silva in there.
Mhm.
And of course, a number of people didn't like him because he was stating the facts. This is what we have to do. And they didn't like that. So there was some really bad things, you remember, Brittany, going around from police unions and all the different things that took place. But, you know, we got through it. Then George came in and took that and ran with it. He made some changes to his, you know, to his style of management, but he has done an excellent job. And so from 875, we went up to 70 million.
So, there's been some comments made, well, yes, but during that time there was this huge real estate boom and this tax revenue boom.
Correct.
How much of it was really his style and his expertise, and how much of it was just luck of the draw that his...
Well,
family was
timing
doing?
is everything in life, isn't it? I mean, and all I can say is that thank goodness that the disaster we were in with 875,000, we didn't have Hurricane Wilma and Katrina and all of that. We were in a position where we were prepared for that by that time, thank heavens. And now we're in a good position, not that I want to see all that money spent, but we're in a good position for this downturn in the global economy. Whoever thought that it was going to be this horrendous? I think all of us knew that this high rise in property values couldn't continue. It was like the .com. I mean, come on, it can only go for so long, and now we're seeing reality. I mean, how many Office Depots do you need in 3 square miles? I mean, they just overdid everything, and now we're coming back and saying, what, you know, at the world economy, saying, hey, wait a minute. So, we did take advantage of that, but thank goodness we had that opportunity, and we could sock that money away, because I don't know how else we would have gotten those funds that quickly.
But do you favor spending the reserves to fill the gap? Or?
Well, they're emergency funds. So you're not supposed to spend them for reoccurring expenses. Like you don't go out and pay people salaries with them because they're going to be constantly reoccurring. But if there's unusual things, like they did take some of it when they got this new contract for the Teamsters. And they did use a couple million, I can't remember the exact amount, for that cost involved with that. And but it came to us and we voted on it. But to start spending it like special, and we're probably going to have to spend some of it on these pension, because we don't have a choice. We have to come up with the money, and if we don't use it from the reserves, then it's going to have to be a tax increase for the people. So which is best? We're probably too high right now with our reserve account because of the accepted percentage is usually around 15%, and we're higher than that. But I'd rather be higher than lower. At least we can do something about. We have that flexibility.